Hi boys and girls, we're going to talk about math again today. We're doing math multiplication still. So today we're almost to the end of this chapter. So we're going to be doing what's called the Key Standards Review. And you're going to remember what we've talked about before. So this is chapter 20. The lesson is called Key Standards Review and the page number is 405, 406. And yes, you do have to do both pages, 405 and 406. Today is Monday, April 20th, 2020. That date is a little redundant. 20 and then 20 and then 20 again. Oh, wow. Before we do anything else, I wanted to do a little clarification from the video from Friday because I may have made a little mistake about equal groups. So let's go over that one more time. It says here, this is a page that you don't have, but it is connected with our chapter 20, going back to lesson 1. And it's talking about equal groups. So when you make equal groups, right here they want you to make equal groups with counters. But when you make equal groups, it's a part of multiplication. So the first problem they have here is 3 groups of 2. So whenever you see the word groups, you have to know for sure that they mean equal groups, especially when it's 3 equal groups of 2. So I'm going to write that up here, and let's look at this together. 3 equal, even though it doesn't say equal, we know that they mean equal. 3 equal groups of 2. So when we make that into a multiplication problem, or we're thinking of it as an array, any one of those things, we're going to say 3 equal groups, so 3 times 2. So if you had, say, I don't know, a test, and you saw that problem right there, and they said, which one of those numbers means equal groups? Well, you know for sure that both of those numbers are factors. And when you multiply them together, you're going to get a product. And it doesn't matter if it's 3 times 2 or 2 times 3, you're going to get the same product. But the equal groups are equal groups of 2. So the equal groups, there are 3 of them. So right here, this is the number that tells you equal groups. Okay? And on this page right here, you might not be able to see it. It's a little bit dark. So I'm going to write it again up above. It says blank plus blank plus blank equals. Now we know what 3 times 2 is. It's 3 plus 3. So we know that the product is 6. No doubt. And we also know that if you say that multiplication is fast adding, then it's 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. When we were doing it with tables the other day, you know I love, love, love tables. We're going to do some tables today in our lesson, right? And what we said was up here is the equal groups, right? So in one group, it's going to be 2. Right here is going to be the number in each group. Right here is the second equal group. So 2, so basically I'm going to skip count by 2. So that's 4, right? And then here's my third equal group of 2. 2, 4, 6. So that is my final answer, 6. So once again, whenever they're talking about equal groups, it's the first number. 3 equal groups of 2 is 6. right here, they're talking about 5 groups of 2, which is the same as 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. And the answer, I can skip count by 2, so it's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. My answer is 10, as you can see there. Okay, right here, they're saying 2 groups of 6. What they mean is 2 equal groups, 6 in each group. So that would be 6 plus 6, and the answer is 12. We talked a lot about that one yesterday. Okay, so clarification on equal groups. Definitely the first number is what you're going to make sure you remember means equal groups. Okay, so I'm going to erase, erase, erase. If I'm going a little bit too fast, what you could do is just watch that part of the video again, just so that you get to remember how important that equal groups is. Okay, today's lesson, key standard review. See, I told you we were going to work with tables, and there's my first table right there. And it says, use a pattern to complete the table. Write the multiplication sentence. There are 4 flowers. There are 2 butterflies near each flower. How many butterflies are there in all? So in this case, the equal groups are the flowers. Okay, and how many flowers are there? 4. So in the first equal group, there's 2 butterflies near the flower. So the second equal group is going to be equal to 4, because now there are 4 butterflies in all. The third equal group is going to make 6, because there are 3 equal groups, 2 each, so that's 6, and I'm doing my skip counting by 2's. And right here you have 4 equal groups, 2 in each group, 8. So my math problem is 4 times 2 equals 8. So we did that first one together. If you want to go ahead and finish the page, then you could pause the video. 3, 2, 1, pause. Hi, I'm back. If you paused the video. If you didn't, it's okay. We're going to go over this next one together, and we're going to see if you got the same answers that I got, or get. There are 3 ladybugs. Each ladybug has 6 legs. How many legs are there in all? So let's see. On one ladybug, there are 6. We know that. We learned that in science. The equal groups are the ladybugs. So in the second equal group, I know I'm going to have 6 more. So 6 plus 6 is 12. We just talked about that. And then in the third set of 6, I'm going to take 6 and I'm going to add it to 12. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So my final answer is 18. So you should have had 18. So what they want you to write is 3 times 6 equals 18. Now, if you had have written it 6 times 3 equals 18, that's okay. When you have this table, though, you have to make sure that this part up here is the equal groups. And here's a little helpful tip for you. Every time you have an equal group, go back to the 1 group. And that's how many of whatever the item is in each group. So you could say 2 times 6 is 12, right? Up here, you could say 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, so, just another way to look at it. So now we're going to come down here to Roger loves to play bingo. I like games. Bingo's a good game. Here's what an empty bingo card looks like. Write a multiplication sentence to show the number of spaces in a bingo card. So what I need to do, first of all, oh, this reminds me of an array, doesn't it? What I'm going to do, I'm going to see how many rows there are. Remember, a row goes from left to right, correct? So I'm going to say, here's a row, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to say there are 5 equal groups, or 5 rows. And then I'm going to say how many columns. In bingo, it's a column for every single letter. So that's kind of nice. So I'm going to erase my rows, and I'm going to write my columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, look, it's the same number. So there's 5 rows, and there are 5 columns. That's kind of convenient. So I could do my skip counting by 5s. Let me put my lid down here. Here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 25. So my answer is 25. If Roger has 10 spaces filled, what fraction of the total board is filled? Oh my goodness. This definitely is a challenge question. Well, I'll be honest with you. As a math teacher, I know a little bit about fractions. So I'm going to say 10 spaces, and here's my fraction bar, out of a total of 25. So 10 out of the 25 spaces are filled. Later, when you go on to 4th grade, they're going to say, okay, wait a second, you can reduce that. And you can say 10 25ths, which is the fraction, by the way, is the same as 2 fifths. Right? Anyway. So if Roger has 3/5 of the card filled, how many spaces are covered? Okay, this is a kind of hard question, but that's okay. We can do this. I gave you a little hint-ski here. 10 25ths. Right here, 10 spaces are filled, right? What fraction of the total board is covered? 2/5. So if it's 3/5, I'm going to go like this. There's 3, there's fifths. I just covered up the page number. 3/5 is equal to, let's see. Well, I know that there's 25 spaces in an entire board, right? So I think if I said 2 times 5 equals 10, and 5 times 5 equals 25. It seems like there's a pattern there. There's a relationship. So if I said 3, and I also multiplied times 5, going this way, 3 times 5 is 15. So I really think that Roger has 15 spaces covered. And to be honest with you, we haven't really talked about fractions at all. So if you were able to get those, 2 thumbs up. If you weren't, it's okay. So let's see what we have next. The next page, of course, usually tells you whether you're going to do some practice with IXL or maybe use your flashcards. I also wanted to point this out to you. There's a couple of videos here where you can review multiplication tables. And these happen to be Schoolhouse Rock, some of my favorites. I believe this is 3 is a magic number and count by 2s. Elementary, my dear. But I think we have one more page of math to do. Yes. Here we go. Tables. Lots of tables here. See if you can get this with me. ants alive. Oh, this is so fun. We've been talking so much about insects. The life cycle of the leafcutter ant starts as an egg, of course. Then it grows to look like a worm. Next, the ant wraps itself in a cocoon. It comes out as an adult. We've talked about that quite a few times. So we're going to use a table, one of my favorite things, a table, to solve these math multiplication problems. So leafcutter ants have 6 legs. All insects have 6 legs. How many legs do 5 ants have? Well, let's use our table here. We know that it's this number of equal groups, right? Equal groups is the part that's on top, right? And then in each group, we're going to have 6. So let's see how we're going to do this. In one group, there's 6. 2 groups, there's 12. 3 groups, what I'm going to do is take 6 more and add it to the 2 there. 6 plus 2 is 8. And then I'm going to bring my 1 over. So 3 times 6 is 18. And then I'm going to take 6 more and add it to 18. And if you wanted to, you could even do this. If you needed to do that, you could, or you could add it up in your head. 8 plus 6 is 24. So I'm going to put a 4 there. And I'm going to put a little 1 right there. 1 plus 1 is 2. So my next number is going to be 24. Now this next one, a little bit easier, because I happen to remember the numbers that add up to 10. And 4 plus 6 is 10. Another secret is I know anytime we multiply times 5, it has to end in a 0 or a 5. But this is a 5 times an even number, so it's going to end in a 0. So 4 plus 6 is 10. And then that little 1 comes over here. 1 plus 2 is 3. So there's my final answer. My final answer is 30. Yay! Okay. Leafcutter ants live in colonies. Now, if you wanted to pause the video and finish the page yourself, that's fine. And then turn it back on so you can see if your answers and my answers match. It's up to you. Okay. Leafcutter ants live in colonies. The entrances are near mounds of sand. If a colony has 5 entrances, how many entrances do 4 colonies have? Now, the first time I read that, I was a little confused. But I had to think about what are the equal groups. This is the equal group. So each colony has 5 entrances. So I'm going to go down here and say for one colony, there are 5 entrances. And then skip counting by 5. We can do that. 2 colonies, there's 10. 3 colonies, there's 15. 4 colonies, I know it has to end in a 0 because 4 is an even number. The answer is 20. So in 4 colonies, there are 20 entrances. Last problem on the page. The underground nests are connected by tunnels. If each ant digs 10 inches, how far do 6 ants dig? Okay, so here's the good news. On this one, my equal groups, there are 6 because each ant is going to dig 10 inches. And I'm skip counting by tens. Yeah. So 1 ant is going to dig 10 inches. 2 ants, 20. 3 ants, 30. 4 ants, 40. 5 ants, 50. 6 ants, 60. So my final answer is 60. You can barely see it here, but it says inches. I'm just going to put IN because I'm abbreviating that. Now this one is kind of interesting along with this one. No, in each one of these word problems, what they're doing is they're saying the equal groups is actually the second number that comes up. But we have to think about right here, and especially on our table, we love tables, it says number of ants. So if there's 2 number of ants and each dig 10 inches, 2 times 10 is 20. So that's just another way to think about it or look at it. Hopefully that's helpful for you. If you need to pause the video and go back and look at those again, by all means do. We have another array. Someone recognizes this array, and it's making me a little hungry for chocolate. I don't know why. So we have 3 times 3 equals 9. And this guy, he's back from yesterday, or he's back from Friday, and he's jumping for joy because of Kaylin's array. Thank you, Kaylin. Great array. And the nice thing I like about this is it has 3 rows and 3 columns, and this is actually a square. You notice it's the same on the bottom, and it looks sort of like a square. Whenever you have a number times itself, that is called a square. So, and the nice thing about this is, watch, if you tip it on its side, look what happens. You get the same thing. 3 rows, 3 columns. So I'm jumping like that guy's jumping. He's happy. That's a good thing. Okay, here's our last part. The last part of the lesson for today is practice with flashcards. Remember, this one is not giving you a choice. And practice by using IXL Y.11. Of course, it's math because this is the math lesson for 20 minutes. So set the kitchen timer or whatever timer you have for 20 minutes and do some IXL. IXL. And look at this. That guy was so happy, he jumped right on to the next slide. So have a great Monday afternoon. We love you. We miss you. We wish you were here. But God's in charge, and he has a good plan, and we're trusting him. So have a great day. Bye.